Just like boom doom doom psh psh boom doom doom, and then I sampled that, and that became Be Faithful. My day-to-day mentor, DJ Chillwell from the Get Fresh crew, took us to P. Diddy. He said, listen,
wow,
I'm gonna let you rhyme hard for the streets, then we gonna put you in a suit and tie, we gonna make you for women. That's Biggie. And he said, music make you lose control, music. And I was walking out the door. By this time, I'm Fatman Scoop. So I'm walking out the door going, let's go. Here we go now. Here we go now. Sierra's A&R stopped me. He was like, go in there and do it.
You were just freestyling, walking out the door, about to be out.
I was literally pulling the door, walking out the door. And he said, go back in there and do it. I said, yo, bro, I don't do songs like that.
I'm about to interview Grammy Award-winning New York hip-hop icon Fatman Scoop at my Poughkeepsie podcast studio. How did I get here? In April 2024, I was minding my own business at work when I got a surprising DM. It was a voice memo from Fatman Scoop.
Hey brother, what's up? Fatman Scoop here. Listen, I need a dope podcast studio. Who else would I ask? Because I heard you delivered, bro. So I'm gonna definitely ask you.
A week later, Scoop was here to record his own material with Jeannie Kelly, and he was gracious enough to sit down with me. The man with the voice that we recognize instantly from our favorite party tracks growing up.
Let's go now. Here we go now. Here we go now. You got short hair. Big noise. If you got long hair, get your hands up.
A powerhouse, a teacher, a true storyteller. Welcome to episode 2, Secrets of Success. I am Bryce Eckwall, and this is Fatman Scoop. Tragically, Isaac Freeman, aka Fatman Scoop, passed away just a couple days ago from a medical emergency suffered on stage in Connecticut. We hope that Scoop's friends, family, and fans can turn to this interview in mourning if they need it.
Secrets of Success. Welcome back. I'm your host, Bryce Eckwall. We're sharing secrets of successful entrepreneurship. Crack the code with people who've done it. That's the point here. And I'm sitting here at Q29 Studios with a hip-hop pioneer. We're talking about on the emergence of the forefront of New York rap culture, Hot97 royalty, international hype man, the DJ's DJ before DJs were DJs. Fatman Scoop, thank you so much for being here.
Wow, that's a beautiful intro, man. I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to be able to have done this for so many years and be successful at it.
I completely hear you. I want to have this episode with you to share secrets and a look behind the scenes, right? But really, I also, selfishly want to talk about hip hop because I'm such a fan, growing up. That's all I listened to. And I did a little bit of research. Signed as a rapper to Teddy Riley, Dougie Fresh's figurative like Hip Hop Academy in a sense, more than 20 years on air in New York radio, hit maker. I'm really interested in when you were growing up in Harlem neighborhood with the guys rapping outside. When and how old were you? At what age did you start noticing or other people start noticing that your voice was unique?
Okay, so check this out. It didn't go like that. I knew that I wanted to be in entertainment at about 6 years old.
Wow.
6 years old for me was the dawn of hip hop. I mean the real dawn of hip hop, like
Sugar Hill Gang?
Well, even a couple of years before Sugar Hill, when the park jams and before they even figured out how to monetize rap with music and Sugar Hill Gang and all that stuff.
Okay.
I knew that this is what I wanted to do. My cousin Alan Jackson and his friend Chip, they were like local DJs in the area. And again, this wasn't even at what it is now. It was like put 2 record players together.
That's crazy.
Old school record players with the 8-track and all that kind of stuff. And
was there any hip hop on the radio at the time? So how did you even know to rap?
Okay, here's the thing. It's an underground thing. It's in the parks. It's b-boying, break dancing. This is like something that wasn't really known. It was like culturally, it was only for a certain amount of people. Like, again, it was like an underground thing to an extent. It was just coming out. you know.
Late 80s, right?
Yeah, no, early mid 70s.
Oh, wow.
Late
Okay.
70s, better yet,
Okay.
like 77, 78. I'm like 6 years old,
And
right?
you knew you wanted to be an entertainer at that age.
So when I heard, I'll never forget it. I was upstairs in apartment 502 in my building, in my cousin Alan, his best friend, who was a friend of mine, named Chip's house, and they were mixing this song called Sarone 4. And if y'all can go listen, Sarone 4, it was like a jazz album. And there was a thing called the break of the record, which was like the really good part of the record that everybody loved. And they would go, and what DJing back then was going from one the break here, and then putting the break here, break here, break here. So it was continuous, and then people would rap over it. And
would they call that like the bridge today? Or
well, not even it's the break of the record.
break.
Still, it's just the best part of the record.
Got it.
Just like boom doom doom psh psh boom doom doom was the best part of Chic Le Freak, and then I sampled that, and that became Be Faithful. So it's always the best part of the record that you sample it. Just back then, it was there was no sampling. It was just playing this record and then mixing it, playing this record.
Wow.
And I'll never forget Sharon 4. And if you listen, you'll hear Sharon 4. You can look it up on YouTube. And I remember my cousin just mixing that back and forth. And I had a comb, and I was trying to emulate them as they were rapping and stuff. And when that happened, I'll never forget that day. I went back downstairs to my room, and that's where me as a rapper started. Then I was a rapper. I was really, really good, and I lived in Harlem, and one of the people that I hung out with was a guy named Markel Riley.
Markel Riley, who was a Rex in Effect. He was like one of the dudes from the neighborhood. I usually hung with the MCs and the DJs, but we used to hang in a project named St. Nick, and he was one of the dudes that was out there. He happened to be Teddy Riley's brother. Wow.
You know, we'd known in the neighborhood from rapping at that point, whatever. He gave the tape to Teddy. Teddy signed us, and, you know, we were in that guy, Rex in Effect, Redhead Kingpin, whole clan. That didn't work out. Right as they were about to put our album out, Teddy split up from his manager, Gene Griffin. My day-to-day mentor, DJ Chillwell from the Get Fresh crew, took us to P. Diddy. And
right, I've heard you tell the story about that. You were this first person who was supposed to be that, who was B.I.G.
Who was supposed to be B.I.G. He had an ID. He said, listen,
wow,
I'm going to let you rhyme hard for the streets. Then we're going to put you in a suit and tie. We're going to make you for women. That's Biggie. So he had that idea for a long time before Biggie hit the scene.
And when Diddy presented that to you, were you it just in your feeling? Did you feel like that could be you? You wanted to be that?
Here's the thing. I could do that kind of rapping, but I realized that I wasn't the tough guy behind it. I was a comedian. I was always known as a clown and a comedian and stuff like that. And I was smart enough to know if I act tough and I'm not tough, certain things happen. Now listen, everybody could be tough when it comes to your family, somebody doing something to your family. You push a regular person the wrong way, they'll do anything, right?
Completely understood.
But if I realize I am not a tough guy by nature, so that means that I have to bring the killers from my block. If I have to bring the killers from my block, it will become soft extortion, then it'll become legitimate extortion.
Got it.
Then I'm getting myself into things that I don't know, that I know the streets, but I'm not built for that.
Got it. Scoop, I wanted to ask you about the hits. You brought up some of the hits when you made Faithful. Huge multi-platinum hits with the biggest artists on earth.
Yeah.
And you've actually said that like a rapper has like a 3-year span on becoming in and out. When was like that moment for you when you went from like, we're jumping around, but you went from like being the promo guy and like doing stuff, and you had your rap career, and then you went to the promo guy and then the radio station. When was that moment where all of a sudden like you couldn't walk in the streets of New York without being seen by 1,000 people that wanted your autograph?
I think that part for me was when I hit Hot 97. So when I worked at Tommy Boy as a promoter, I was on the back of the Source. The Source magazine was the biggest, and it was the equivalent. People would be every rap website, blog, vlog site, blog, any site with information. Imagine me on the opening page of that.
Wow. The back of the Source. And that was right when you said
that was
signed.
right after I decided that I wasn't going to be in the business. I was going to be in the music business, and I went to become an intern. And I bust my butt for a year and a half, and Tommy Boy called me.
Got it.
So once I got on the back of the Source, that would be like being on every major blog site that has to do with rap in the world. World Star, DJ Academics. It would be like all of that.
So you would hit the streets. You would get out of the office at Hot 97 and go down, and like people would just swarm you.
No. It wasn't that. That was like when I was coming on.
Okay.
So I was known to the industry then, and I was known to regular people because everybody would look at the back of the Source no matter what, because you want to see what ad they did. So I got hot off that. When I got to Hot 97.
It was another level.
That's another level. Because you got to remember, we were the only station playing hip hop at that time in the world. There was a station out in Phoenix, KKFR, I believe. I don't know if it was KKFR, it was KK something. And Boogie D, my man Boogie D, they had started playing hip hop a little early, I think.
Okay.
But Hot 97 was the first really to dig in. It was in New York. It was of the culture. It was known. And, we were the first to really do that across the board. And you have to understand, the artists were big. But because we were the celebrity, we were the radio DJs, we were big as well.
And you had a level of control there. I've heard you speak on the fact that earlier on, you were just like more of a radio DJ, and that was before you became like the international hype man on recording records on huge hits,
yes.
right? And there's like a duality there for who you became in your journey.
Well, you have to understand something. I never had, quote unquote, the voice. Here's what happened.
How?
Here's what happened.
Everyone who hears your voice instantly recognizes it.
Right, but here's what happened. I was a rapper. I rapped, so I had the same voice. But this, Fatman Scoop, that didn't come until later. That was actually a mistake. Some of the biggest things that I've ever been involved in were a mistake.
So your DJ voice on tracks was a mistake.
Lose Control with Missy Elliot was a mistake, but that's a story for later.
This is amazing.
I was trying to figure out a way to put my brother through Hampton University. I heard a record by DJ Cool called Is New York in the House Right Now? It's a huge club record in New York.
Got it.
And at the end of the song, it says DJ Scissor Hands, Crooklyn Clan, DJ Wiz, Crooklyn Clan. And I walked into the studio and I said, yo, Flex, who is DJ Scissor Hands and DJ Wiz? He said, oh, that's DJ Riz. Riz was one of the DJs that I used to talk to when I was a record promoter. Called him up, said, yo, man, I want to do a song. He was like, yo, meet me out in Brooklyn. We went out to Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. Why is a black man in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn? That's another story, right? I'm out there, I'm at the, it was either Bensonhurst or Canarsie, but I think it was Bensonhurst. But they meet me in front of a church. They say, Riz and Sis say to me, yo, yell this. And I think they might have told me yell hands up. And I was just like, he said, just yell it. I was like, hands up. And when I did that, I didn't know what I was just yelling.
So you can just turn that on, though.
Yeah, like now I can turn it on.
You just turn that on. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just like, I did the yelling, and then the next thing you know, DJ Scissorhands jumped up and down in the air. He said, oh my God, Riz, we got our own sampler. Because before they were sampling other people's voices in the record, they was like, we got our own sampler now. Next day I go to Scissorhands' house in Brooklyn. The song Hands Up comes out. Once Hands Up comes out, I'm the guy on the microphone in the radio, and now I got a hit record in New York City.
Wow.
So that's when it got crazy.
And there wasn't even really like bars or anything. It's just hype the whole time.
It was just hands up, nigga, get your hands up. What? Hands up. Single ladies, where y'all at? Make some noise. It was,
wow.
and mixing two hot records together. You know, Riz and Sis had the formula for that, and the rest was history, man.
Later on, when you did other big hits with artists like Mariah, like Timbaland, aside from like the way that you created Hands Up, are you in the studio with these performers?
Yeah.
Are you a part of that creative process?
You gotta remember, man, back then, there was no email and stuff. You couldn't send something to somebody and do this kind of shit.
Yeah.
It didn't exist.
So you're there with them, chopping
I'm there with them.
and they're like, Scoop, we need you on this, fly out.
So it was like, most of that happened in New York. Mariah was in New York.
Okay.
At the time, my wife was sick, and Mariah asked me to come down and do the song. And I had to come down because they wouldn't let me take the beat and go and do my thing, because at that time, Mariah's superstar, you know, all that. I'm not doing that. So I go down. I told I said, listen, I can get down there when I try to take care of my wife, make sure everything is good. I get down there. Mariah Carey's like, yo, look, do I have to buy your wife some glasses? You want some Versace glasses? You want a bag with her? I said, nah, that's all right. Went in, did the song, boom, that's done.
Wow. For free?
Huh? No.
Oh, okay.
No, was she gonna buy me the glasses and stuff for free?
Oh no, I knew she was gonna give you that stuff, but I didn't know if that was the potential form of compensation.
No. I got paid.
But at that point, they want you because you're the voice.
Because you're the voice.
So it's huge.
Yeah. So, but she was just saying that, like, I know I took you out of your way. Let me get something for your wife, right? I was
nice.
Like, cool, right?
Wow.
With Timbaland, the song Drop, I went to L.A. I had to go to L.A. to do it because Tim was in L.A. Timbaland is without a doubt one of the most talented, or the most talented person I've ever seen make records in my face. He'll take this bottle of water, he'll take this, he'll clap this together, he'll make the beat. He'll shake this will be the drum. Like, I've never seen anybody do anything like that. Like, he'll go, he makes records like that.
Yep.
This is genius level stuff, right? So
every Timbaland record.
Timbaland record.
They're all the best.
Like, that comes from him beatboxing.
Wow.
So he did the beatbox, then he did the synth to make it's genius level stuff, right? All right. So with Timbaland, I went into the studio. He put me in this big studio, like where Ray Charles records and stuff like that, like big ass piano. The studio's like a block long, and he's like, "All right, man, go ahead and do your thing." And because of it's Timbaland, and because of the enormity of the studio, they put the beat on, and there's nothing. I couldn't do anything.
You didn't feel it.
You weren't feeling it. He put me in, he said, okay, man, check this out. He went, and there was a little studio that they would do pre-production in. It was the size of a closet, a broom closet, to the point where I was so fat at the time I could barely fit in the thing.
Okay.
They played the beat, came right out. So Timbaland as a producer, not only does he know how to do the beats, he knows how to work with people's emotions and how they are and get the best out of them.
Wow.
So those and then Missy Elliot was a mistake.
Yeah, you said that.
I was in the studio. I had to, because I had an overnight show. Nobody could ever come to the studio overnight. They'd be sleeping or whatever. So I had to go and get interviews from people, so I'd have to go to them. There was something called a DAT tape back then, DAT recorder.
Okay.
And I brought my DAT recorder, which would be like a tape recorder and a mic, 2 mics, and I went to the studio. Sierra said, I cannot come to the studio at 2 o'clock in the morning, but if you meet me at the studio, I got to record something for somebody. She didn't tell me it was Missy or whoever. I went, I got on the floor with her. We sat on the floor of the studio. We did the interview for like 30, 45 minutes. I got up. I was walking out of the studio. In a stroke of luck,
wow.
The producer, as I was walking out, the engineer hit the song because he was letting Sierra and them hear it, so they can do whatever. And he said, music make you lose control, music. And I was walking out the door. By this time, I'm Fatman Scoop. So I'm walking out the door going, let's go. Here we go now. And Jay Brown, who was Sierra's A&R, stopped me. He was like, go in there and do that.
You were just freestyling, walking out the door, about to be out.
I was literally pulling the door,
Wow.
walking out the door. And he said, go back in there and do it. I said, yo, bro, I don't do songs like that. I write them down with pen and paper. He said, man, go do that. Me and him going back and forth fight. He said, man, just go in there one time and do it.
Wow.
So I did it one
Scoop,
time.
Did you knew in the back of your head that when you said that out loud walking out the door that they were going to want you to do it?
No.
That was a move. That was a chess move.
It wasn't a chess move. I was just bullshit walking out the door.
Okay.
And I went in and I did one take. So if you listen to the song, you'll hear me at the end out of breath because it was one take. That's it.
That's crazy. One take, Tim.
One take Hove, man. That's it. So it was a mistake.
So with all the massive success, this is a two-part question. You know, you've made this amazing global career out of that time. Do you ever
I made a global career out of it because I made the choice in 1998 to start going overseas. When people didn't want to take the risk to go overseas, I said, you know something, I'm going to go over there. It's a whole new market. People love me. I made the decision. So
you're definitely early to doing that. And I didn't even research that, but I'm sure. Do you ever look back on the younger you, the past you, or feel a sense of like imposter syndrome? Like as if like someone else was that you and now you're just kind of like you woke up from a dream like, wow, holy shit.
Nah, man. You know why? Because I always knew that this is what I want to do. From that fateful day when I was 6 with that comb in my hand, one of my core memories in life, I knew that this is who I wanted to be, and I put the work in to do so.
Wow.
So during my teen years, I didn't even have sex till I was like 19.
Because you were so committed to just putting work in.
I was committed to doing this, man.
So is that what you would attribute to your success is, and this can be applied to anybody, entrepreneurs who are watching this, young people who are hustling and trying to get their money or make their value in success, just putting the work in.
You can't do anything without the work. So, you know, I follow Kobe, Warren Buffett, anybody who, Larry Fink, because I'm in the investing now, so a lot of investing dudes, anybody who is at the top of their game, I'm going to follow them. And the one common denominator is people work. Kobe said, if you want to be a basketball player, right? Most kids play basketball twice a week. Let's say you play 5 times a week, right? He said for him, he would practice 3 or 4 times a day, where the average NBA player is practicing once.
Wow.
Just by nature, if you're working out there, you got to get better.
So those are your goals. Like Kobe is definitely one.
Yeah, my thing is that anybody who is striving for excellence, that's who I follow. And to be honest with you, that's just something I've done since the pandemic.
Okay.
You know, a lot of, and I think about it this way. My thing was, yo, man, I'm Fatman Scoop. I'm a legend. These records are playing no matter what in the club. Every single night, you're going to hear it at least once or twice. Boom, boom, boom. I don't care. Let me go. But I wasn't putting the work in. The work was coming by default. Like, people call me to do a record. This will happen, a remix, whatever.
Took a life of its own.
Took a life of its own. But then I started to say, if I'm here, what if I work a little bit more? What if I put a little bit more into my craft? What if I study a little bit more? What if I sit down and write things a little bit more? How much better will I be? And I've taken that since about 2022, and the results, I see the results.
So your journey is continuing. It's not, oh, this thing happened. You knew you were destined for this. Now, my other angle that I really wanted to ask you about was being in the entertainment business and being known as somebody who's always up, right? This hype, excited personality. When you hit me on Instagram to do the podcast with Jeannie, it's a voice memo and it's just immediate personality. Yo, what's up, man? It's Fatman Scoop. Bryce, I had to maybe pop in because I got a relationship with Damon. I want to see you deliver, bro. I want to see if you did it. And then that's been your whole career. So is there a dark side that comes with it? Is it a roller coaster? Is it up and down? Like you're known for being this excited guy, and then that's an energy drain on you. What has that been like? And maybe you came to a realization recently, or maybe it's something that was hurting to you in the past. What has that been like?
Look, man, life is a series of up and downs. Life is a roller coaster. You, me, the man back there checking the levels, everybody got ups and downs.
Yep.
It's how you handle it. You cannot be in this business and you not have a downtime. You have to be able to handle that and manage expectations. One of the things that kills the hottest artists is when they take that downslope. Can they handle it or not? Can you handle dudes not running in the street, running up to you the way they used to? Can you deal with all of those things? Can you manage it, and can you move forward? Number two is, can you get up off your knees? Everybody in some form is going to be on their knees in their life at some point. Can you get up? Those are the major two things that you have to deal with. And is there a dark side? There's always a dark side.
And I mean like emotionally. And
yeah, because check it out. You are famous and you're popular, right? But when you go on the road and do what I do, you perform, you do it enough and you start to feel like a traveling salesman.
Like you're doing the same routine over and over again.
You feel like you're a traveling salesman. You're you're carrying the same briefcase and you're doing it, and then you almost feel like sometimes you're like an animal that they let out the cage and you do the thing and then you go back in the cage. But you know, those are the moments that you have that you may feel some type of way about it.
Okay.
And I've had those moments. Okay. Like,
any one in particular?
I mean, when you're sick and a promoter's like, I don't care, man. Like, I need you to perform. That's what I paid you for. Yeah. I've been sick as shit on stage, man. Like, that's just part of the game.
Yeah.
And, but then I sit and I think about it and I say, wait up, hold on, bro. You live life by your own terms. You get paid for 60 minutes. What some people take 5 and 6 months to make.
That's right.
Right? You go where you want. You travel the world. I've been to every place in the world pretty much but Mexico. I don't know why. I haven't been to Mexico. I haven't been to Colombia.
Wow.
And like parts of South America, some parts. Everything else, I've been.
So you just remind yourself continually that you're lucky.
Yo, I remind myself that, bro, even though you might not be Jay-Z, I can still wake up in the morning and say, yo, I want to go to Miami. I'm just going to go to Miami. What the hell, man? I'll buy clothes when I get down there.
Yep.
I am constantly reminded that I'm blessed to make money off something that I actually like to do. You know how many people go somewhere and punch something and they at work and like, man, I hate this.
Oh, everybody. It's like a sickness, I feel. And like, I've been lucky enough to be able to create this creative workshop for myself and something that I'm passionate in.
Yep.
I used to create music and sing, and that's how I started as an audio engineer. But I was able to transition into this business, entrepreneurship, videography space, and it's been so successful. But so many of my friends and people in our lives are just have this negativity and they hate their life. And what Scoop is saying, and what the reason why I asked was, this is for people who are out there and maybe there's a dark time, maybe there's the work goes on, and being able to continually remind yourself that you can do it and believe. The belief in yourself is what's the most important.
Number two is, if you're not doing, and listen, if you're not doing what you love to do, you're dying inside. You're dying. And another thing you have to understand, people, is you have 8 hours a day to work, but after you get off work, what are you doing? Are you pursuing your passion? Are you doing something to make it so that you don't have to work at the job you hate? Are you doing that? Are you doing that? That's another. The third thing is this. Everybody goes through a dark period.
Yep.
When I was going through my divorce, I was hurting. Here's why. I actually loved the woman that I was with. I loved her. I'm not going to take that back. Divorce killed everybody, right? But I'm going through my divorce, and the thing about divorce is you're dealing with a financial part of it, but then you're dealing with an emotional part. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going into the club, into the arena. It's 13,000 people in the arena. I'm going to an arena. You know, give it, Fatman Scoop walking. I'm walking in like I'm
the king of the world.
President,
yeah,
right?
That's right. Yep.
And I get on stage, you know, give it up for Fatman Scoop. I walk on the stage, right?
Yeah.
Do my show. I'm in the kill it. Walk out. I'm walking out the venue. I got no shirt on. They put the towel on me. You the man, blah, blah, blah. I get in the car, right? Go to the hotel. Yo, man, we see you in the morning. We pick you up at 6 o'clock. Go in my room. I'm in a fetal position. I just was on the top of the world, but in my soul inside, I'm in a fetal position crying over my divorce. Why did it happen? What's going on? Why did this? But I couldn't show that.
Wow.
But I'm going through dark times too. Is do you get up off your feet and keep going? Guess what? Because of what I did, I couldn't stop going. Because the promoter was like, I don't care what's going on in your life. You got to do this.
Wow.
And that gave me a level of strength to say, yo, bro, regardless of what's going on, one foot in front of the other, and that's just how you got to approach life in general.
Scoop, that's an extremely powerful message. And I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people who are tuning in. I do want to just get some fun things, but I feel like I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time with me to share
We'll do it again.
your vulnerable position. Yeah, I would love to do it again. And I'd love to help. And in any way, when you're on the road, if you need any kind of videography services, I'd love to return the favor that you've offered me here today.
We'll get to it.
So,
people, I just want you to understand, one thing about me is I'm not afraid to tell people what I've gone through, because if I could take my wins publicly, then I could share some of my losses with you too. The people that you idolize, the people that you think got it all figured out, there are times they dying too. They're dying too. This is not showing you they dying.
Yep.
Everybody goes through it. You cannot get through life alive.
What do you mean?
You can't get through life alive. At some point, you're gonna fall down. You're gonna take a loss. How can you go through life with all wins?
That's right.
It's not possible.
It's like, what's the rain or what's the sunshine without the rain?
Without the rain,
Yeah.
but the question is, can you walk through that rain? So I went through years of craziness to get to where I am now.
Do you think it helps us to put that out there too? Because like you said, we only really put out there when we celebrate our wins. Do you think it helps us as the individual to put out our failures and show our failures?
Well, I think it's important. Here's why. I learned everything that I learned about radio. I learned from Wendy Williams.
Really?
So Wendy, when I first went to Hot 97, Wendy was the first time I ever opened the mic and said, Hot 97, blazing hip hop and R&B, this is Fatman. She was the one right there showing me how to do. So I learned everything that I know about how to do this from Wendy. One thing that I learned from Wendy is don't be afraid to show what really happened. And if there's a controversy about something you did, admit it immediately.
Yeah.
And that's what she did. So I'm never afraid to show my losses, because guess what? If you go and say, oh, look at you did this. Bro, I said that on the podcast 3 years ago. Go look it up.
Yeah. And you were living your life every single day on the radio, so you were able to voice yourselves in little increments, right?
I mean, I always told the truth on the radio. And you know something, the funny thing is, the radio and the podcasting is killing radio. It's especially sports radio. It's destroying sports radio.
Really?
Because now guys are telling their truth on their own.
The long form platform, the Kobe's, the LeBrons.
We don't have to we don't have to listen to sports radio to see what you think about so and so. Gilbert Arenas just said it.
Yep.
And not only did he say it, he told us what happened in the locker room, and he told us the truth. The truth is winning now. Our Cameron and Mace, what it is, it's winning because they're being realistic. We're in the age of truth now.
And you get to hear it from their mouth instead of through a journalist's perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope. So you brought up the Source magazine, and I had a cool question down, and maybe it's insensitive, so please just tell me to shut up. But like as a fan, right, from outside of the hip hop culture, just loving it, I always loved like controversies and like rap beefs and stuff. So I would say, and you were like in the scene like every day. What would be like your top 3 like rap disses or rap beefs of all time?
That's tough, man.
And maybe you were close to it. I don't know.
I mean, I was in the middle of all this, man.
What would be the rap beef that you were closest to?
I was close to all of them, man. I was close to the East Coast, West Coast war with Biggie and Tupac. I mean, we were in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Like, there was a time when our bosses were like, you can't go to California. Because at that point, the radio DJs on Hot 97 were just as visible as the artists. So they were like, yo, bro, we had a sister station out there called Power 106 in LA, which was the LA Hot 97. And when we wanted to go out there, we were told like, yo, bro, you need to, but I knew that anyway. Keep your ass in your city. It was too hot.
So by default, you were on the New York side of that with Biggie?
I have to be on New York side. I know Biggie. We playing his records. He's from New York. We from New York. I have no choice but to be on that side of the thing. You don't get to pick a side, bro. Sometimes your side is picked for you.
Wow. So what about like 50 Cent, Ja Rule, 2 New York guys?
I was there for that one too.
Yeah. Were you playing the records over the airwaves?
Yeah, I was playing the records. Yeah, and my thing is with Ja Rule and 50 Cent, I love both of them.
Yeah.
And I know if it was up to me, I would try to fix it. But to me, that is Israel and the rest of the Middle East. You're never fixing that.
If you had to choose which one you like better music-wise, who would it be, 50 Cent or Ja Rule?
They both add something. They both add something to the game. So
I love 50. I'm going 50.
So look,
I'm going 50.
So listen,
because I love Eminem too.
So listen, here's the thing: they both created genius level hits. That would have to be a versus. That would be a hell of a versus.
Yeah, 50 Ja Rule versus.
Ja, but I'm gonna say
Fatman Scoop said it.
Yeah, I would listen. We could never get that versus.
What? I think
but it would be an amazing versus to have.
Yeah.
50 and Ja. My thing is that I love both of them. To me, I don't think they're, as far as a hit maker, Ja Rule was in a class of his own. When Ja Rule was Ja Ruling, he would, what up, my baby?
Yeah.
And even
Driving
to an
me
extent,
crazy,
like
man.
50 to an extent, kind of took those melodies and went off and did his thing. I don't know what you heard about me. But baby can't get $1 out of me. But I'm a mother. And 50 added his bravado and his street shit to that.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's what made it dope.
Now, as far as a human being, 50 might be the smartest rapper I've ever met in my life.
Smarter than Jay?
To me, just from the philosophical level and the strategy level.
Yep.
Now we talking about business. Jay is over here, is this, a billionaire. But when you talk about strategy and execution and all of that, like 50 Cent is, I've never seen nothing like it. So I give you a great example. One day I'm in the office with 50 Cent, we talking.
Yep.
And I'm like, 50 said to me, so this is how, I went to the office to interview Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks. And I'm in the office, the G-Unit office, and we're in there, and 50 is buying jewelry and stuff. He got a bunch of jewelers. So he come in, you Scoop, what's going on? He's talking. And
he's buying jewelry at the radio station?
No, at G-Unit offices.
Oh, sick.
I went to G-Unit offices again. Remember, back then I was on the midnight show, so people couldn't come at night. I had to go and interview them.
Got it. And they had their jeweler in the room.
So he had the jeweler in the room, everything. So jeweler was over, whatever. We in the room talking, and I said to 50, Fif, yo, I read the 48 Laws of Power, bro. it seemed to me like you doing this to this person, this law, crush your enemies completely. You doing that to him. This law, make two people fight against each other and then you be powerful. You doing it to these guys. This law, you doing this. And he said, Scoop, this is the only business that you can move people around like pieces on a chessboard.
Wow.
And at that point, I started to realize how smart he was.
Okay.
Then I'm watching everything he does and how he does it and how it's methodical and strategic, everything. And I'm like, wow, this guy's smart. If you watch 50 Cent talk, watch him talk. Go to an interview and watch him talk, right? He's a gorilla, right? But when the man talks, he sounds like the CEO of American Express. Go listen.
He's like articulate but funny. He's like funny, articulate.
Listen,
you know,
not act like when when he talks, it's extremely articulate. It's like if you just took the face off the camera and heard him talk about certain things, you think the fucking CEO of American Express is talking.
I hear that. Now, so you wouldn't say that the beefs, that all the beefs that 50 had, I feel like you're not saying that they were like made up just for the clout. You're saying that he's specifically strategic.
He's specifically strategic in some of those.
Wow.
And some of those he's taking that on strategically.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, yo, bro, I think I might have been in Australia. I don't know where we were, but I said, yo, bro, if you gave me the option to fight you in the street or to get into one of these beefs with you, with the Instagram and shit, I said, give me the fight. I said, I'd rather get punched in the face by you and we punch it out and we fight it out. I'm bruised, I gotta go to the hospital, whatever the case may happen. I'd rather do that than deal with you with these beefs. Look at how he do people. Like, look at how he
Didn't he end Ja's career? Yeah. Didn't he end Ja Rule's career, basically?
I don't think he ended his career. I don't think you can end somebody's career that got hit records. Right. It's just, can you make him look crazy?
Got it.
Like it's like somebody come to end my career. Yo, bro, I got Be Faithful. As long as there is a club, somebody gonna play Be Faithful.
For sure.
If you go in a club, you're gonna hear his record with Jennifer Lopez. You're gonna hear Giving It Up. You're gonna hear I Cry, You Cry. You're gonna hear all those records when it's time to do a set. No. I don't think you can specifically end somebody's career. You can make them look stupid. And the one thing I learned is, as much as you embarrass somebody, it is a cycle to that. It's maybe a 3-4 day cycle. My boss, Tracy Cloherty, always told me, she was like, look, if something happened, there's gonna be a 3 to 5 day cycle where they talk about you, and then eventually it's gonna go away. Now, if the story's big enough and the person's big enough, it may be a longer cycle, but for the most part, name something that happened from last year. We can't even remember it.
Yeah, I don't know, something that happened last year.
Name something big that happened last year.
From hip hop?
From hip hop.
Yeah, something big that happened last year.
In 23.
Oh, you got me.
Taking a long time because guess what? It's over. It's over. So you can't specifically end somebody's career. You can make it hard. 50 is very good at clowning people, making it hard, making it tough, going in on people. Like, that's why I said, for me, I'd rather take the fist fight in the street with 50 than do that. But
I'm taking the Instagram beef.
Nah, no, you don't need. No, you're not,
just
bro.
Just because I'm. Come on.
No, bro. Let me explain something.
I'd be in the river.
Let me explain something to you. That man will ride you forever. He will ride you forever.
Best publicity I ever got.
The only person that I've ever seen come out of it to an extent is Rick Ross.
Got it. Yeah, he was coming hard at Rick Ross, right?
He was coming hard at Rick Ross for a long time. Like, I think those are the only two that it's ever been. And in a rap beef, maybe Jadakiss, but nobody want to battle with Jadakiss. There's certain people you're gonna leave alone. Jadakiss, Lloyd Banks, Fabulous, Ice Cube, LL Cool J, KRS-One. There's certain MCs you're gonna leave alone.
Yep.
Like Jadakiss is one of those guys. But listen,
Jada's sick.
When I tell you, man, I just wouldn't want it, man. And some of these, and the thing is, 50 is one of them dudes. He just never stops. It's a mess.
So, okay, last thing. We were talking about 50, so there's Tony Yayo. He's a guy who's doing a lot of hype ad-libs on tracks.
Yeah,
Who would be like your top three?
I love Tony Yayo. I want to say something about Tony Yayo.
Okay.
Tony Yayo is the friend that everybody should have. When I think of one of the most loyal people in hip-hop, I always tell Yayo this. I don't think there's anybody that rolled with their man in hip-hop the way Yayo did. Like, absolutely, like, I can't say enough about it. It's just,
he was always my favorite part on records, like, because he'd be doing the hype ad-libs. So who would you say are like the three people maybe in throughout the hip-hop history, or just kind of like, you know, within the industry since you did it, that you think are doing it at the highest level of hype ad-libs on tracks?
I mean,
in your lane, Fatman Scoop,
Lil Jon, DJ Cool. Who else is doing it?
We got Lil Jon, we got DJ Cool.
Who else is doing it?
There's like, you know, Khaled does it.
But Khaled doesn't do it like that.
Yeah.
You know, DJ Khaled ain't gonna put your hands in the air like Khaled ain't doing that. Big Ali does his thing. You know, I'm thinking it's only like 3 or 4 dudes is really doing it. Cal is not, I've known Khaled for 28, 30 years. Cal is not doing it like that. He's just saying DJ Khaled, or you know, he's saying whatever. Like, that's not straight yelling. Like, he's not doing a whole record of yelling. So it's a completely different thing. Khaled is a DJ and at this point a cultural icon. So he's not even in the hype man lane.
Is he even doing anything? Like, is he doing it? I know that he grinded and was radio his whole career and everything, did a lot of work, but I'm saying on his albums, what is he even doing on the album?
What do you mean? He's producing it.
Well, is he producing the music, or he's just making the arrangement and curating it?
Here's the thing.
He's curating it,
so
right?
Here's the thing. There's a difference between beat maker and producer.
Got it.
Beat maker is the dude that go and sample. Producer is Quincy Jones.
Ideas.
You know, Puff, Michael Khaled. These are people who put it all together.
Got it.
So for me, people think that Khaled just walk in and say this and point like that. Now that guy's putting in really, go look at his Instagram. This guy's putting in work.
Yeah.
At 2 or 3 o'clock when you sleeping, that man's up checking the drums or whatever, doing whatever he do, putting it together. Like, that ain't just easy stuff. And then being able to promote it, the business part of it. Everybody think that
he's definitely a genius. Yeah,
the man, you know, and I have to say that because everybody think that when they see somebody do something that is so simple. Well, guess what, bro? If it's so simple, how come you not doing it?
I feel like you just told me that.
Respect, no, not you. Respectfully, I say this with all due respect.
I agree.
There's a reason that McDonald's salary is $14 an hour, and there's a reason that DJ Khaled go get $650,000 for a show, because everybody can't do it.
And that's like the resentment, and sometimes like of a CEO or somebody who's like doing it and they're at the top, they're the president of something, and there's people who work for them, and there could be a resentment built, or like, oh, why do you get to like come in at a different time, and why? Because we created it.
We created it, number one, because number two, we run the show. We run the show. Now listen, the problem is, you are here as a CEO, but you have to understand, if these people here are not taken care of, then you can't do this.
1000%.
A great company is the guy that's running it is making sure that the guys down here are okay. What's the guy's name from Kohler? I forget his name, his son. He used to be the roommate with Kenny Smith.
Okay.
The guy who does Kohler bathrooms, Kohler toilets, Kohler whatever.
Yep.
His father made him go work down in the factory, work here, do that, sweep the floor, because how you gonna know about this as a CEO if you don't know nothing about that?
And they end up being not financially responsible. Damon John always says the first generation builds it, the second enjoys it, and the third destroys it.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll leave on this note. Damon is 100% right. One of the things that we need to, and I didn't know anything about it till the pandemic, So I'm just as guilty as everybody else. Is financial literacy. I learned financial literacy in the pandemic because I was sitting at home. I had nothing else to do, and I was trying to figure out what my next move was. A trust. Everybody needs to have a family trust because a family trust will stop a lot of that.
Okay.
In a trust, you leave instructions. The Vanderbilts, a little history lesson. The Vanderbilts, Anderson Cooper's a Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
He's a Vanderbilt.
Yeah, that's interesting.
No money, he just had the Vanderbilt name. Versus the Rockefellers. Why is one family successful and the other family's not? The trust. In the Rockefeller Trust, they couldn't do certain things. They couldn't take money and do certain things. It was the way it was set up, how it was distributed and all that. The Vanderbilts, when Cornelius Vanderbilt died, the money was just there. All of the descendants, they got the money. What they doing? They battling. Who make the biggest house? You got 115 room summer house. He got a 117 room summer house. All this. You turn around, 5 generations they broke.
Wow.
In order for one generation to make it, the second generation to keep it going, the third generation, you have to do it like the Rockefellers. There's a book called What Would the Rockefellers Do? Go read it.
Does that have the credit Jeannie Kelly stamp of approval? Cool. Hey guys, this was Secrets of Success. I'm here with Fatman Scoop. Fatman Scoop, thank you so much for being here.
No problem.
Hey guys, peace.
Done.
Super dope. Thank you so much. Thank you, man. Thank you.